We're going to go with the next myth I have for you, and these last two will be a little quicker, a lot quicker actually. So another myth is that layout only has one line weight. This is simply not true. So people think that like SketchUp and layout in general, it only has one line weight. And I can see why you'd think that, because when you're in SketchUp, there is no line weights. You know, it's not that traditional CAD feeling where you have like a line thickness or you have pen settings that correspond to colors. There is no indication really of line weights in SketchUp. We do have profiles and section cuts and depth Q, but those seem to just be buried and many people don't find them, so they just think there's like one line weight in SketchUp. Furthermore, when you get over into layout, I can also see why this myth perpetuates here, because in layout, when you select a viewport, you're given a line weight input. And so you get one shot at that viewport, and many people think that it's simply giving one broad stroke of one line weight onto that viewport. This is a myth. This is not true. Layout has an exceptional amount of line weights. It has, the way it works is different, all right? And if you're working with ConDoc, we stack viewports to give you several line weights, all right? So think of it like this. Line weights in SketchUp and layout are a product of the multipliers that you set up in SketchUp, in the style, all right? So a style in SketchUp has two critical multipliers. So it has a profile and a section cut. When you set those numbers to 2 and 3, then they get multiplied by the line weight that you assign to the viewport in layout. That's what creates roughly 3 line weights per viewport. With ConDoc, we automate the stacking of viewports. I never use more than 3 viewports stacked. Very rare that I would have more than 3. And if I use 3 viewports, that's going to net roughly 9 line weights. I can't think of, honestly, I've kind of switched my thinking to be, I use fine, light, medium, heavy, and wide. I don't think that you need any other line weights. 5 line weights, in my opinion, is really everything you need. So let me show you. I'm going to demonstrate this and kind of show you exactly how line weights work in SketchUp and layout so that we can put this myth to rest, and you'll know that there is like pretty much unlimited line weights, but really you only need like 5 to 10. All right, let's get to it. All right. For the line weights, I want to, let me think about how I'm going to do this. Yeah, we'll just shoot an interior elevation, and let me see if that's going to do what I want it to do. I want to make sure that I find like a clean interior elevation. Let's go over here. I'll click my section tool. I'll click my elevation tool, and then click on this wall. And then this is going to be CD. And let me just make sure this is doing what I want it to do. And then if this isn't, I'm going to make a much simpler scene so that we can really break it down. All right, so that made a section AA. You know, we do have a lot going on here, and I like the idea of using this model, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new drawing. And that's fine, I'll save those changes. And I'm just going to draw a super simple shape because I want it to be just extremely clear how this is working. I'm going to make this 20 feet by, let's say, 15 feet, like that. All right, and then I'm going to offset by, say, 8 inches, and then I'm going to pull these up by, say, 10 feet, like that. And then I'm going to make this into a group, and I'm going to make this into a group. And then I'll draw a ceiling on here, you know, just so we have it like that, and we'll make that into a group and hide it. And then I'm going to elevate this wall. So I just want to throw some very simple shapes on here, like let's set our door at 8 feet tall, and you know, I just cannot draw without being accurate. And that gets back to our other myth. I always type in precise dimensions. My models are the definition of precise. All right, like that. And then the other thing I'm going to do is draw a let's just draw like a shape on the wall like that. And what I want to illustrate here is that this edge right here is going to be different than like our profile edge. And I did that because it's dividing these two surfaces from each other. So this is the thinnest line possible in SketchUp. All right, so let me back out, clear my guides, and I'll just kind of, let's see, let's add a section cut now. So we'll go to our ConDoc Tools, and I'm going to do let me make sure I'm on my ConDoc Interiors 2019. We're going to shoot an interior elevation on the wall there. That's a CD. And then I need to go to my ConDoc system and click Design. And then let me see what that looks like now. Okay. So you can see how ConDoc drastically automates the creation of these it really just automates layers, styles, and scenes. It takes that entire task off your plate. Now, let's look at our style. All right, so this is a super simple interior elevation. I'm going to go to my styles, and you can see that this is a ConDoc style. It's line drawing 00. That 00 means it's black, and its section fill is turned on. I'm going to hit edit, and I'm going to turn my section fill off. Right now, I don't want to see section fill. It's just, this is for purposes of demonstration. I want to look at line weights. All right, now the two multipliers that you really need to be aware of are your section line width and your profiles. So I'm going to make those exaggerated. All right, I'm going to make the section line width at 10. You can see the default was set to 3. All right, then I'm going to go to this other box here. You can see that on the edit tab of the style, now I have my edge settings, and my profiles are set to 2 by default. I'm going to set those to 5. All right, and then we'll just update our style for the time being. So let's look at what we've got going on. In SketchUp, in the style, these are multipliers. These aren't line weights. They're just multipliers. They don't mean anything until they get into layout. All right. So the multipliers that I've set up on this specific style, my profiles, anything that defines space beyond is going to have a 5 multiplier. So see when there's space beyond, it's those old drafting techniques where you thicken up the lines to give that drawing a little bit more pop. That's what's happening here. I've got a 5 assigned to my profiles, and then when I look at my section cuts, my section line width, those are set to 10. And I'm just exaggerating. And I'll unhide my ceiling there. Oops. Let me unhide my ceiling. There you go. So now you're seeing the ceiling cut as well. You can see our profiles, and then you can see this line when you divide two surfaces, or like in a corner here, that's going to be a 1. All right. So the multipliers in SketchUp are controlled through the style. That's how we start to control our line weights. Now let's get this back to where it was. I'm going to set our section line width is going to be 3, and my profiles are going to be set to 2. All right, and then I'm going to update that style and go back to my scene and just take a quick look, and you can see that I don't really need this window right now. I'm going to save this to my desktop. Let's go to desktop temp, and we're going to call this one, I'll just call it room. All right, so you can see that like the line weights are pretty subtle. All right, our section cut being a 3, our profiles being a 2, and then this is a 1. All right, so now I'm going to kick this over into layout. I'm not going to use our ConDoc Tools. I just want you to like really see that this is not a function of the ConDoc Tools. ConDoc is automating it, but I'm just going to show you how this gets set up over here in layout. All right, so I'll come over here into layout, and I'll just add a new page, and then I'm going to go to File and choose Insert. All right, and then I'm going to go to my desktop and go to my temp folder, and we'll go to our room and drop that in there. All right, and then I'm going to turn auto render on, and that might take just a moment. I just want to see all this stuff render. I should have just rendered the page, right? So then we're going to go to, interior elevation CD01 primary. All right, now when I zoom in on this, you can see that you're getting a little bit of those line weights. The viewport is selected. The line scale by default in layout is at 0.5. And then your render settings are on raster. I need to set this to be vector. Vector is going to give a much cleaner and refined look. All right, so now you can see we're getting a 3, a 2, and a 1. Now I'm going to set this to a scale. Let's go with like 1/8 inch, because I think at 1/8 inch it's going to be clearer what's going on. So let's just kind of scoot this down like that and scoot this one down like that. And we'll zoom in. Okay, now at 0.5 in vector, my line weights, the way this shakes down, I'm going to make a copy of this. All right, and I'm going to explode the copy. Remember, section cuts are 3, profiles are 2, and simple lines are 1. I'm going to right click and explode. When I do that, this becomes nothing but layout geometry. Now it's a scale drawing. I'll double click in. You can see that like my section cut line width, the shape style, this is going to be at 3 times 0.5 equals 1.5. These are going to be 2 times 0.5 equals a 1. And then this is our baseline, our multiplier of 1 is going to equal 0.5. So you can see how the multipliers that are set up on your styles in SketchUp translate to a line weight in layout. Now, let's do this. I'm going to just go back into SketchUp. I'm going to kind of jump off of that and just render this once with ConDoc. We're going to click our ConDoc export and kick out this interior elevation. I'll send this out at 1/4 inch and click send to layout, and that's fine. All right, so this is going to, the ConDoc export takes that scene and it bundles it up. It sets the render setting, the line weights, everything is handled. Basically, we have like an escalating line weight chart. It's in the book. It's actually kind of cool. We used it to develop ConDoc because as the drawing gets bigger on your page, you want your line weights to get thicker. So ConDoc is already thinking that through for you. All right, so check this out. I'll go in here and go to my scrapbooks, look at my ConDoc drawings, and then I can drag this onto my page. And now you can see when I double click on select this viewport, you can see that ConDoc calculated a line scale for me, and then also set up the drawing style, drawing rendering setting for the viewport automatically. So ConDoc is running a formula in the background to get all of your viewports all sorted out. Check this out. If I go take a look at my layout, my construction plan, and I'm going to, I'll just kind of tighten this up a bit like that, and then I will shrink that one, and then I'm going to make a copy of this, and then I'm just going to right click and choose ungroup. And now check this out. This is what ConDoc is automating for you. We have a light viewport, and you can see that the line scale is 0.22, and when that happens, I can tell you that the light viewport does not have a section cut, so we're only getting 2 line weights out of the light viewport, but we're getting a base line weight of 1, and we're getting a profile of 2, and our line scale is at 0.22. So technically this is a 0.22 and this is a 0.44. Then we have a heavy viewport. Now I can scoot that one over here, and you can see that heavy is at 0.7. So our line weights for this one drawing go 0.22, 0.44, 0.7, and then it's going to go 1.4, and then you can see the real heavy stuff is going to be like a 3. So let me explode this, and I'm going to explode this, and we're going to just take a look, and I'll just ungroup all this and ungroup all this. We don't really care. I just want to get to the line weights. So the thickest line weight that I have is going to be a 2.1, and then we go back down to like a 1.4, and then we've got a 0.7, and then we've got a 1. Let me ungroup this as well. Then we've got this guy is going to be a 0.45, and then this guy is going to be a 0.22. So what I'm getting at, of course, the myth being that layout only has 1 line weight, absolutely not true. The standard issue layout, if you're not using ConDoc, certainly you can achieve this. I explained in the book how to stack all the viewports. Everything that ConDoc is doing, I've explained in the book. It's just that ConDoc, with one click, automates the whole thing. So hopefully you can see that there are a lot of line weight options. Even when you're just stacking 2 viewports, we've got 5 line weights. So we put that myth to rest, that layout has only 1 line weight. Not the truth, as much as you want, really.